Good afternoon, colleagues. I want to thank the Cambridge Center for inviting me to this important discussion. You couldn't have timed it better. I'm going to focus on climate change, why climate change by itself poses existential threat. In 2017, I organized a meeting at the Pontifical Academy of Sciences. Professor Martin Rees is also a member of this academy, and he was part of this meeting. What we concluded at the end of this meeting is climate change caused by burning of fossil fuels and other human activities poses an existential threat to Homo sapiens and contributes to mass extinction of species. It was just published early this year by Spring Publications. It's an online open source book. So let's talk about why we came to this rather pessimistic and catastrophic conclusion. Just taking the study I published again in the same year, 2017, we sort of projected with unchecked emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, what would the temperature of the planet look like later part of the century? As you know, just like in anything in science, there is no certainty. So it's really a probability distribution. Just if you focus on the dark red curve, it shows we have at least a 50% probability of the warming between 4 to 5 degrees. And with a 5 to 10% probability, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 degrees. A planet warmer than 6 to 8 degrees we have not seen in the last 20, 30 million years at least. So I want to explore with you, what does that really mean? And we came to the conclusion that would expose the entire planet to existential threats. And it's from the combination of two things we were considering: tipping points in the natural system and tipping points in the social system. Let's start with the natural system. This is again a study we published about 11 years ago. We said as the warming progresses from 2 to 4 to 5 degrees, how one by one various tipping points will come into play. First is the summer sea ice in the Arctic. We already lost 40% of that. And it's absorbing more sunlight because the sea ice has disappeared. The ocean is absorbing about 40% more sunlight, which is equivalent to adding another 250 billion tons of carbon dioxide. The second was the Himalayan Tibetan glaciers, and by the time we go past 2.5 degrees, it's the Greenland ice sheet, the Amazon rainforest. And so we're slipping into a permanent El Nino southern oscillation pattern, the thermohaline circulation, and of course the West Antarctic ice sheet. So these are the natural tipping points we need to worry about as the planet heats beyond 2 degrees. I want to mention another particular one. This equation I wrote that shows how this vapor pressure would increase exponentially with increase in the warming. My various studies have shown that equation holds a death grip in the connection between climate change and extreme weather. For one, it shows the evaporation will increase by somewhere between 5 to 15% for each degree of the warming. And that's one of the main reasons for the explosive fires we are seeing in California, just in our backyard. Just at the moment I'm speaking, about 100 kilometers north of me is a major fire, and about 100,000 people were evacuated yesterday. So the fires are simply as you warm the planet, the soil, the trees, the leaves, everything is evaporating. So the evaporation is increasing. If it's not balanced by rainfall, then you have the situation. Everything is drying out. All you have to do is light a match and boom. The same equation, mind you, is what connects to warming to hurricanes and storms. And the same equation is why the entire planet has gotten more humid and accelerated the warming by a factor of 2. So these are all happening by well understood thermodynamics and dynamics of the system. Now let me move on to the natural tipping points. I see the world as two separate worlds, codependent, mind you, but two separate worlds. The top 1 billion, all of us are part of the top 1 billion, we seem to have unlimited access to fossil fuels, and we are burning it as if there is no tomorrow. Compare that with 3 billion people around the world, mainly in South Asia, Africa, and not in the whole world because of inequalities, okay? Is that this 3 billion lack access to fossil fuels, even for simple things like cooking and home heating. So they're left to burn whatever they have. So if and when the climate heats up beyond 2-3 degrees with heat waves and others, even if we reduce our fossil fuel to renewables, unless we provide for them, they're going to continue burning. And we estimated if they start burning coal, let's say 2-3 decades from now, their consumption alone would exceed anything we are emitting today. I don't know how many of you know, we emit about 40 billion tons. And the top 1 billion, that's equal to per person. We are putting something like 10,000 pounds or 4,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide into the air every year. So it's really an unsustainable, huge consumption of fossil fuels. The second societal tipping point is, this is one simulation. It's a NOAA Princeton study. Out of 10 models, one model simulation, so it's a 5 to 10% probability. What we see vast areas, the entire American Southwest, the entire Mediterranean, the Amazon, South Africa, and Eastern China would be in a multi-decadal mega drought. So our so-called Goldilocks zone would be shrinking. This is for the later part of the century, and the population will be about 10 billion. If anything, we need more land, not less land. So this could give rise to mass migration, mass starvation. And it's not clear if the social systems we have could handle catastrophes of this size. And I'm just showing you a report which was published 2 weeks ago by UN Disaster Agency. They compared these 2 decades, 1980s and 2000 to 2020. In each case, 2 decades. In that period, the planet warmed by 0.5 degree. And the reported disasters from weather-related disasters almost doubled from 4,000 to 7,400. And the total people affected, additional 1 billion, just from 0.5 degree. And of course, the economic loss is also huge, about 1.3 trillion additional damage we incurred. But then you take this, instead of 0.5 degree, it's 4 degrees. It's just unfathomable. So the basic point here I want to make is that all of these are connected. The natural systems, the social systems, and our governments. All of that is going to be pushed to its limits. It's that which made our meeting at the Vatican, and also a series of my papers, there is a 5 to 10% probability with unchecked emissions we will be facing existential threat. if you can't relate to the 5-10% probability, let me give you this example. If I told you that that aircraft has a 5 to 10% probability of crashing, none of us would get on that plane. But we are asking our children and grandchildren and generations unborn to get on that plane. Fortunately, I personally feel it's not too late. First, plenty of scalable solutions are available, and we have a decade to implement these solutions. Why a decade? In a decade from now, the planet will warm by from 1 to 1.5 degrees. And we'll have put another 1 trillion tons of carbon dioxide in the next 10 to 15 years. So we need to stop that. Of course, enormous investments are needed to accelerate this implementation. Are we willing to pay that? That's the question. And I think we need to bring the attention of this potentiality of the existential threat to the public. And I'm so thankful to this Cambridge Center for bringing this issue to the fore. Thank you very much.